Gian Piero Gasperini has transformed Atalanta into a formidable force in European football, culminating in their recent Europa League triumph and securing a Champions League spot for next season. His tactical ingenuity, particularly in using the 3-4-2-1 formation, has been key to this season's success. Here is a detailed breakdown on how Gasperini has set up his Atalanta side in this formation. Gasperini likes to maintain a lot of control in the wider areas of the field, and the 3-4-2-1 system does allow him to generate a lot of overloads in those wider sections. This system will help maintain this focus whilst also having a focal point in the attack as that single striker up front. Along with an organized defensive structure that Gasperini looks to instill in his side, this formation also looks to create fluid transition moments whilst also maintaining dynamic attacking patterns of play. Progressing on to the tactics and the tactical vision, which will be set to wing play, and this is an emphasis in Gasperini's style of play. His side looks to attack through the wider areas of the field, creating those diamond patterns of play and creating goal-scoring opportunities from the wider zones. This approach will look to split the field into two halves, ensuring a lot of width in the attacking play. The beauty of the wing play approach is it does allow you to be a bit more pragmatic with your tactical settings, and it can allow you to switch and alternate certain things. Now, with this Gasperini side, they do look to try and set aggressive pressing traps in their own half, looking to win the ball back. But at the same time, in certain games that we have seen this season, they have been very aggressive, very much on the front foot when out of possession of the ball, looking to press the opposition a lot higher up the field. We saw this versus Bayer Leverkusen. So I would say you can swap between either a pressure on heavy touch approach or a pressing after possession loss. This will allow the team to be very aggressive, very much on the front foot, like I say, and it can also allow them to sit back in certain moments and just capitalize off of the opportunities that the opposition do create with mistakes. One thing that will remain consistent will be the team's defensive width, which will be set to 15. This will help create a central pressing system, vacating the wider areas and leaving the wing backs to manage with the attacking threats from those wider zones. Now onto the team's depth. Now this will be set to 55, but it can change to around 75. It will also depend on what style of defensive play you are looking to implement. If you are looking to utilize the pressing after possession loss, I would recommend 75. But if you are also looking to implement a pressure on heavy touch approach, I would say 55 is your best bet. But of course, Gasperini does like to implement a mid-block to try and limit the opposition's transition plays against your back line. Taking a look at the offense and the build-up play, which will be set to balance now, this will help accommodate both the slow build-up play from the back with the quick transitions that we do see with this Atalanta side. It will allow the team to be very versatile with their offensive approach, mixing long balls with intricate short passing sequences. As for the chance creation, it will be set to forward runs, which this will help encourage the wider players as well as your double pivots to push up into the advanced attacking areas and create good offensive opportunities, while still maintaining a lot of pressure on the opposition's back line. The team's offensive width will be set to 90, which will significantly stretch the opposition's back line. This will help create overloads in those wider sections and stem a lot of the attacks from the wide channels. The players in the box will be set to 6, allowing for 3 players to be in and around the attacking zone, waiting for the crosses and the offensive opportunities to arrive for them from those wider areas of the field. The double pivot, who will be pushed up nice and high, will look to win the ball back, rotate play, and make sure that they are maintaining a lot of pressure on the opposition's defense. And then finally, the corners and the free kicks, as per always, will be set to 4. Now then, my people, we will be taking a look at the individual player instructions, starting off at the back with Carnasechi, who will be set to come for crosses and have a balanced approach for saving outside of the box. The goalkeeper will play a crucial role in initiating the build-up play from the back, playing those short passes either into the centre-backs or into the midfield. Onto the 3 centre-backs, and Jim City as that middle centre-back will be set to the base set of instructions. No major changes required for him. As for the likes of Kolasinac as well as Scalvini, as you'll see, they are both set to overlap. Now this will allow them to get into those wider channels, provide adequate passing options for the wide attacks to be generated off of, and just be able to overload in those wider sections. Onto the 2 fullbacks, and both Zappacosta as well as Ruggieri will be set to the same set of instructions. They'll have both offensive as well as defensive duties in the side. They'll both be set to come back on defense, staying wide, maintaining a lot of the width in this team, as well as also marking in those wider areas when out of possession of the ball. And of course, looking to break in behind as much as possible, looking to be an offensive threat in behind the opposition's backline, making those marauding runs further forward and waiting for that long ball to be fired in over the top. At the same time, you want them to be very aggressive in those wider zones, whilst also maintaining a solid approach on staying on the edge of the box, whipping in those secondary opportunities, or just supplying crosses into the box for the attackers. As you'll see here for the role of Ruggieri, he's got the same instructions as well. Now, taking a look at the central areas of the field, Edison as well as Koopmeiners have very similar instructions, apart from the fact that Edison will be told to stay back while attacking, just making sure that you have at least one player just having a bit more of a defensive awareness to his game plan. But otherwise, they will both be set to staying on the edge of the box, looking to rotate the play as well as win the 50-50 duels when they have been cleared from the opposition's backline. At the same time, you want them aggressively pressing in those central zones, making it very uncomfortable for the opposition to stem any offensive movements from their midfield. And of course, cover the center for the defensive position, and on the offense, when in possession of the ball, you want them stretching and drifting into those wider areas, creating overloads and joining up with the wingbacks for the offensive movements out wide. As you'll see here for Coop Miners, like I say, apart from the attacking support now being set to balance, allowing him to be a bit more of a box-to-box player, he will still be set to stay on the edge of the box, aggressive interceptions, cover the center, and of course, drift wide. Up front now to your three attacking players. Charles de Ketelaere will be playing as a false nine, looking to drop a bit deep, link up play very effectively with the midfield, and of course, Scamacca does have a slightly similar role, but he'll also maintain a balanced width, allowing him to drift into those wider zones if needed, if required, linking up also very effectively with the midfielder and of course the wingback. He will also maintain aggressive interceptions, especially if you are pressing after possession loss. You want your front three pressing nice and high up the field, looking to clog the passing lanes, make sure that they are denying the space for the passes to be allowed to enter the midfield zones. And of course, you want Charles de Ketelaere as well as Ademola Lookman to be able to drop a bit deeper and help, support the defensive areas of the field. As you'll see here for Lookman, he does have a slightly differing role. He will look to try and start his attacks out wide, looking to link up very effectively with the wingback and look to more or less pull the opposition into those wider zones. He'll also look to make runs aggressively in behind as much as possible, looking to be an outlet for those long balls in behind the opposition's backline. Again, just like with the Ketelaere as well as with Scamacca, you want them aggressively pressing higher up the field and of course coming back on defense. And then finally onto your focal point in Scamacca, the number one first choice striker. He'll be set to maintaining a balanced width, allowing him to drift all over the place, sometimes helping create overloads in those wider areas of the field, whilst also playing as a false nine. Now, in the first tactical instructions video that I did for Gasperini and this Atalanta side, I did say he was a target man. Now, you can switch between either a false nine or a target man, but I do think that a false nine situation with this formation suits him a bit better, allowing him to drop a bit deeper, link the play with Charles de Ketelaere as well as the midfielders, and allow him to be a very good playmaker in helping unlock the opposition's backline areas. At the same time, just like with the other two forward players, you want him aggressively pressing higher up the field, looking to clog those passing lanes and win the ball back as high as possible, whilst also looking to stay forward and be the focal point of the attack. And there you go, people. That is how I would implement and replicate Gasperini's 3-4-2-1 system into FC24. Of course, this is the system and set of tactics that he used in the Europa League final versus the invincible Bayer Leverkusen. They absolutely battered them in that game, winning the title for the first time, their first major honor since 1963. Absolutely incredible scenes as Lookman went on and scored a hat-trick, and Scamacca was beautiful in terms of his link-up play. The likes of Edison and Coop Miners in that game were sensational with the ability to just drive forward and win the ball back and win the 50-50 duels and pressing the midfield and making sure that everything was just not going the way of Bayer Leverkusen. Anyways, in terms of the rating of this system, I would give it a solid 8. I think it's a great rating in terms of reflecting the overall gameplay of this side. Sometimes the attack does tend to fizzle out, with Scamacca tending to drop a bit deeper at times, but the defensive setup, the ability for your double pivot to press nice and high up the field, get into those more offensive opportunity and zonal areas, as well as your wing backs being a very good outlet in the attack, it does work so well. But if you guys don't mind, please don't forget to smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. So if you want to be a part of that journey, please don't forget to hit that big red subscription button. And right here, right now, we are going to hop on into the gameplay where we will look to discuss the tactics in further detail. Okay, people, it is the gameplay, and we will be up against Juventus, looking to emulate, not really the results, but the game that Atalanta looked to display versus Juventus in the Coppa Italia, where they did go on to lose, and the likes of Allegri was sacked the next day. But we will look to beat this Juventus side through some great, aggressive, offensive outlets down the wings, splitting the field into two halves of chaos, whilst maintaining a great defensive approach with some good ability to play out from the back. Jim City with the ball, plays it out wide into Scalvini, who is sensational on the ball, by the way. Looking just to, create some good passing patterns. And right here, we see some of that wide diamond play with de Ketelaere dropping a bit deeper at times. And I must say, guys, I do like Edison. I think he was I know Lookman scored the hat-trick, but Edison in the midfield in the game was simply sublime. He was so good. A great cross into the box, into the danger zone, but not much was really there. Back into Edison, and you do see the wider centre-back making that offensive run further forward. Edison, great ball into the likes of Adamola Lookman, who takes a shot and puts it in the back of the net. Great stuff, great ball movement, and great off-the-ball movement for a little pass into the attacking area with Lookman looking to latch onto it, and he does. Puts the ball in the back of the net, and we are 1-0 to the good. If only this happened in real life, it would have been a fantastic double for Atalanta this season. And they also got the last Champions League spot in the Serie A, which is great in its own right. But again, Gasperini has been able to maintain, this level of excellence, whether they've been, sometimes mid-table in Serie A. He's been able to do it while still selling. I know a lot of YouTubers have said this, but while still selling some of his best players. I saw the funniest tweet, or X, or whatever you call it, the other day, and somebody was like, well, people have been giving Brighton so much credit for what Brighton have done, and all they've done is really, copy Atalanta's, style of building a team, selling your best players year in, year out for large amounts of money, looking to reinvest it. And really, truly, and honestly, Brighton have only really been able to do that for, 1 or 2 seasons at most? Whereas Atalanta under Gasperini have been doing it for almost 10 years now. So it does beg the question, Good ball out wide. Little ball into De Ketelaere, looking to drop a bit deeper, but he does get tackled by Rabiot, who will get booked early doors, and we will look to build up yet again. Jim City this time. Why is he so far forward? He shouldn't be. But anyways, we'll look to build still into Charles De Ketelaere. He's looking to maintain possession here. Make sure we are using the ball very effectively and efficiently in the wider zones. Back into Koopmeiners, who gets off a shot. Oh my goodness me, puts it into the danger zone. And nobody was there to put it in the back of the net. That was a fantastic bit of offensive play. Cambiasso this time, he's looking to get on the ball. And here we go, Federico Chiesa. He's looking to offensively pose a threat into the box. But look who's there. Some good, solid defensive actions. And yet again, the midfield will look to carry this ball further forward. Into the slightly wider channel here of Lookman, out wide into Ruggieri, who will look to put in a ball into the attacking third. Does a great job, but it does get blocked away, and that does go out for a corner kick. 27 minutes played. Koopmeiners set to take it. Bang, bang, and bang. Put the ball in the box, and it's dealt with really well from Gatti off the head of Scamacca, though, and it will go out for a goal kick. But we are going to press slightly higher up the field. I know I am playing the pressure on heavy touch approach. Now, against a team like this Juventus side with the manager and management role of Max Allegri, the team would look to more or less make sure that they are setting these, pressing traps in their own half, not looking to overly engage. But against a team like Bayer Leverkusen, who tend to play out from the back, that's when you look to aggressively press high up the field, make sure that they don't have time or space on the ball to generate solid offensive movements. And that's exactly what they did versus Xabi Alonso's side in the final, of course. They just ran and ran and ran. Koopmeiners and Edison they were machines. They were absolute machines in the central areas of the park. Good ball into Zappacosta. Zappacosta out wide into Edison. Look at the run from Scalvini. You do see the run of Scalvini. He is onside as well. He's driven it. Bar line. Oh my goodness me. It's put into a dangerous area for the opposition. And now they can look to counterattack on us. But we are looking to hold up the play. And we do get a few players back in time. Koopmeiners out wide now. Looking to pick up the runner in that wider zone. Making sure that it's not that easy for the player. Gym City deals with the offensive threat of Chiesa, and we've won the ball back yet again. Looking for that ball over the top. Koopmeiners, little ball over the top. Maybe, perhaps he is offside. I think. No, he's onside still. Wow, he's onside still. That is absolutely incredible. Well-timed run as well. A little flicked on efforts into Scamacca, who does force... Oh, he doesn't force a save. I thought he may have forced a save, but he doesn't hit the target. But into the space, some good combination play as well. The likes of Scamacca with this false 9 role, he doesn't always back into the opposition, which I do like because it does allow him to drift into those slightly more wider vacated spaces, looking to, of course, link up the play, but it does allow him to have a bit more freedom in the attack, which I kind of like. So you can also alternate between the target man approach or, of course, the false 9, but we have gone with the false 9 system. and it has worked very, very well. We should be 2-0 up, but at the break, we are only a goal to the good. Although, I'm very happy with how the tactics have been able to display in that first half. Lookman, you absolute king. Okay, so at the break, we have maintained around 62% possession to Juventus's 38. They have been able to concede the ball to us, and we have been able to get into their danger zones and look to try and exploit them. We have done so quite a few times, and it should definitely be a lot more than just one goal, and that is always dangerous because you never know, the opposition could work their way back into the game. But for the time being, we have we have double the passes, almost triple. We've got a goal expectancy of 1.5, 3 shots to their 0. Our defense has been nothing short of sublime. Love the defensive structure, the defensive impact on the side. It works so well. And I will say, Gasperini's side, they don't always look to, dominate proceedings. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken, don't quote me on this, but they have maintained around, on average, this past season, around 53 to 54% possession over their opponents. So they're not always dominating the proceedings against a team like a Bologna or maybe an AC Milan or an Inter Milan, teams who look to dominate the ball themselves. They will quite happily look to revert into a more slightly defensive structure, set those pressing traps, pressure on heavy touches, and look to then capitalize on the counter-attack and make sure that they are looking to exploit the team with those runs in behind. So they can look to do that every now and then. But against a team like Juventus, under Allegri, who are quite happy to give you the ball and sit back and counter-attack against you, you'll see Atalanta express themselves a lot more in possession. And even against a team like Bayer Leverkusen, they were also very capable of displaying a solid, bit of rotation in the central zones. And they were very, very, very good versus Bayer Leverkusen, I might say. Okay, so just having a look at what we have been able to do in possession of the ball, and a lot of the attack has been down the right-hand side. As you'll see, it is highlighted quite a bit, but we have maintained quite a significant chunk of possession around and in their box, which is nothing short of magnificent. Exactly what we are trying to do. A lot of their attacks, however, have come down the left or the right-hand channel, down that one side that is significantly highlighted, down that right-hand side for me, but we need to break that up a bit more, although I will say we have effectively executed the game plan perfectly. And then, of course, looking at the halftime defending, and we have, 1, 2 standing tackles, and you will see, because we are setting pressure on heavy touch, we do tend to win the ball back in our own half, which we have done. So we aren't really aggressively winning it high up the field. We can do so possibly if we do set it to pressing after possession loss, but we haven't set it for that just yet. We have won 8 offensive duels, 6 defensive duels, and 2 aerial duels compared to their 5, 4, and 0. So we have been very much on top form in terms of the ability to win the ball back. Their ball recoveries have been very close to their box, so it has been a lot of their offensive breakdowns for us that we might need to look at in that second half. Okay, kicking things off here in the second, 12 minutes in, and Lookman had the ball in the back of the net. A great pass. I'm pretty sure it was from Edison, but that's from the first half. We need to do it again in the second half multiple times. I do like how the Ketelaere has dropped nice and deep. And also, I will say this, when, testing out the different tactics and stuff, I can't remember the team I was playing up against, but I scored a lot of goals versus them. They play in an orange kit. Forgive me, I've had a bit of a moment here. Just because, right, I had gone ahead and scored, I think it was like 2 or 3 goals, and the opposition team looked to just throw men forward and pile offensive players further forward. And because this defense is so strong and so great, we were able to just hit them on the break. And might I say, the counter-attacking opportunities that this set of tactics and formation can produce is so effective. Just piling men forward, exploiting the spaces, getting runners in behind like Lookman. Even Lookman chasing back here. That's exactly what you want to see. Konoseki, well done. Little short pass into the centre-back, who will then lay it off into the likes of Coop Minus, who does look to stretch the play. Back into the more central Lookman now, who will look to get into his position. Big ball over the top into Zappacosta, who can't get the ball in time. An offensive breakdown, you could say. But we've got Scalvini, who looks to just to dominate the opponent there, the offensive player. And again, a little pass there. Ruggieri plays a nice little 1-2. Can he get a return pass? I think not. Into Charles de Ketelaere. Great little spin. Great little bit of movement. Oh my goodness me! It was the spin. It was the touch. It was the pure finesse to get the ball out of his feet and into the back of the net. 63 minutes gone by. 2-0 to Bergamo Calcio, a.k.a. Atalanta, Gasperini's legendary side. A great little bit of interchange in the central zone, stretched the play very nicely. As you'll see there, Juventus left very light in the central zone right there for the attacker to go ahead and exploit, and we did it to a T. Beautiful scenes as we are 2-0 up in the game. Charles de Ketelaere, by the way, love him. I hope he gets a real face ASAP, because I have been a massive admirer of him, even when he was at, or playing in Belgium, I should say. Now, don't quote me on who he played for, because I'm pretty sure it was Club Bruges, but I could be mistaken as well. I am not perfect. I've never claimed to be perfect, although I'm pretty sure it was Club Bruges. Didn't really work out at AC Milan. I was very happy when he got the move to AC Milan, so I thought that, it just works out so well. I do like AC Milan as a club, as a team, and it didn't really work out in his time there. So maybe a permanent move to Atalanta could be on the cards for the young man. 6'4", technically gifted centre forward, has all the capabilities to play in a system like a Mikel Arteta, a Pep Guardiola, or even a Gasperini. He is so versatile, it's unbelievable. Great little bit of defensive action and play there. Anyways, we're going to roll it out into the wider zone, back into the central area, and look at that. Scamacca looking to get on the ball, driving it. Lookman this time, back into the likes of Charles de Ketelaere, who will look to lay it off into the wider zone, and oh my goodness me, Zappacosta almost on the end of that 50-50 duel. Almost on the end. And we haven't really seen much of this midfield aggressively winning the ball back and pressurizing the opposition, but it will occur on a regular basis. You do tend to see them winning the aerial duels when the opposition look to quickly clear their lines. You do tend to see the likes of Coop Miners and Edison and whoever you have in that midfield with these settings. They do tend to push up, win the ball, circulate it back into play, and make sure that there is a sustained attacking outlet. Anyways, 81 minutes gone by, 2-0 to the good, and Juventus have been shameful. Nothing short of shameful. They have not been able to generate much attack. They have not been able to really create much, and look at that. They've thrown the ball away. Charles de Ketelaere almost winning it back down the wider angle, and it's into the gloves of the goalkeeper. Just playing it out wide here into Kolasinac, who will look to... we haven't also gone long, but a decent long ball approach into Lookman, who does get bullied by Danilo. And here we go again. Locatelli on the ball. Locatelli is also a very good deep-lying playmaker in certain moments. Also destroyer of opposition build-up play. But look who's there. Look who's there. Ruggieri, the left back. Dropping very deep and coming very central to try and, get on the ball. But he has also gotten into the space. Oh, Coop Minus has gotten into the space here. Puts in a great cross opportunity, but it's not going to fall to the center attacking player. The striker, of course. Scamacca almost in that moment got another goal, but 2-0 to the good. A great display of the tactics, I will say. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and do all that good stuff. It has been sensational. It has been amazing. These are the tactics that they used countless times this season. They mixed up between the 3-4-2-1 and the 3-4-1-2 system. But these are the tactics that they used in the Bayer Leverkusen final for the Europa League, which they went on and battered them with and won 3-0. Anyways, we'll have a look at some of the stats after the game and see how the second half fared and how things shaped up and all that good stuff. Having a look at the match performance, of course, the possession did go down a little bit. We were looking to try and hit them on the break, but it is still at a decent, respectable 57%. 5 shots to their 0. Our defense absolutely locked this lot up. Expected goals of 2. We ended up putting 2 goals past the likes of Szczesny. 97 passes to their 57, 8 tackles to their 7, 6 tackles, 1 to their 4. They've obviously made more interceptions, 7 to our 6. No saves from the goalkeepers, which was fantastic, although our goalkeeper was very good at claiming those aerial threats when they were whipped into the box, and he was able to deal with them very effectively. But anyways, until the next one, until the next time, I hope you guys have a damn great day, and I'm out.